Hello everybody, you have tuned in to Eric Jose on Making a Murderer on YouTube. I cover virtually any aspect of making a murderer. I go over the evidence, the documents, the photos. So if you like, stay tuned, and in the future I'll have many more videos besides the one you're about to see. Everybody, how are you doing today? Okay, so today we're here to talk a little bit about why Bobby and Scott Tadych, Bobby Dassey and Scott Tadych, are named as and continue to remain suspects named by Kathleen Zellner. Well, there's a lot of reasons why, and you guys have heard me talk about in the past. A lot of Scott's statements, provably false. They can just be proven false. That's it, right? We all have an issue with Bobby. With the way that, the way he testified against his uncle. And then when we find out all the stuff that was going on in the Dassey computer and all the things, and things start to come, and it puts a different spin on things. So, obviously, I'm not here making any accusations today, but I am pointing out that these guys are justifiably being pointed at by Kathleen Zellner. Absolutely justifiably. Because, well, this thing I'm going to share with you today about Bobby just really freaking pissed me off. Really did, because I care so deeply about Brendan and how he was treated so crappy, so ridiculously by this, whole system down there in Wisconsin, in Manitowoc and all that, right? And then on top of this, what we see is going on here in this first thing I'm going to show you, where Bobby is he's just doing something that's really, really just pathetic. Seriously pathetic. And Brendan has to come in at the end and apologize for him, and it's just like, anyway, I'll let you guys see it here. And then we're going to come back from that, and then I'm going to show you another reason why Scott Tadych one of his statements has been proven false. Hey, there's the truth train. But anyway, one more of his statements can be proven to be not entirely truthful. Alright, so first we're going to show you this little interaction that happened on MSN Messenger. And it was clearly Bobby, and you'll see why here. So, all right, folks, this is something I saw recently that really got under my skin, and really, folks, this is really this is among the reasons why KZ has named Bobby as a suspect. Among the facts, there's other reasons too, because he was such a big witness for the prosecution, and had this stuff, been able to come out at trial, if they'd been able to meet the Denny requirement and stuff like that, then that would have put a whole new face on this trial. Because instead of Bobby being the star witness for the prosecution who places Teresa at the salvage yard at 2:40, 2:42, whatever the timing was on it, and he places her there. So imagine if you no longer have that, and you have that person is in question and now a suspect himself. You can see how that would put a different face on things, right? So this here is basically some bullet points about some MSN Instant Messenger messages from February 27th of 2006, folks. Does that date stick out in your memory? Well, the giveaway is right here. While Brendan was at Fox Hills, okay? On February 27th of 2006, while Brendan was at Fox Hills. Okay, so there can be no doubt that what you're about to read here was not Brendan, because he wasn't even there. He was at Fox Hills, right? Someone was once again using Brendan's account on MSN Instant Messenger, because it's not the first time it's happened. At 9:15 p.m. on February 27th, Jane, seemingly out of the blue, asked Dassey, "I thought you didn't care. From what I can gather, they were talking about another girl who was apparently mad at Dassey." Dassey explained that the only reason he wasn't talking to this other girl was because He was at his friend's house. Presumably Mike Osmondson, right? Because he was friends with Bobby. At 9:25 p.m., Dassey still hadn't elicited a direct answer from Jane regarding what exactly this girl was mad about. Clearly frustrated, Dassey called Jane a bitch. Then Dassey is asked for an explanation for the outburst. Jane is told, "Well, I want to know. I don't know why you don't tell me." A bit of time goes by with no reply, and Dassey sends, "Hello?" Jane finally replies, "You're mean." At 9:34, Dassey says, "Well, you think I'm mean? Ha! Well, you haven't seen me mad." Jane says, "Okay, whatever." Dassey replies, "Whatever to yourself. Why don't you go F yourself?" "Ooh, you might like that too much. I shouldn't say that." After a minute with no reply, Dassey says, "Baby? S-face? What's wrong? You can't handle me or what?" Dassey keeps on instant messaging with no reply, eventually telling the girl's vacant computer, "I'm having a party, but only for girls who are nice, and you didn't make the list, LOL. At 9:48, Dassey says, "Why don't you go F off? I'm going to block you if you don't talk. You have 5 seconds to talk to me or you're gone." Dassey then starts counting down, sending a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. This does nothing, and so Dassey changed tactics and began berating the girl, again to no avail. At 10 p.m., Dassey once more tries counting in order to coerce Jane into speaking with him, although this time he counts up from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 4.25. At this point, Jane could no longer hold back and decided to correct Dassey's obvious mistake, telling him he miscounted. Jane tells Dassey a quarter comes before a half. So yes, to count correctly there, he should have said like 4 3/4. Then that would have came after a half, right? So anyway, that's she's correcting him on that. Then at 10:01 p.m., Dassey replied to Jane saying, "We're going to play a game and we're going to play it by my rules. Why don't you meet me at a warehouse? I'll be the guy on Saw." Jane stopped replying at this point altogether. Half an hour later, Dassey gets a message from another girl saying, "What's this?" Dassey says, "Nothing. Tell her I'm sorry. I was just talking to her." This new girl says, "What did you do now?" Dassey says, "Nothing. It was my brother. I was not here." So, I'll let that sink in. And it couldn't be Blaine, folks, because Blaine was at Fox Hills too. I mean, just pointing that out. This is a pretty nasty little exchange. And indicating up at the top there, it indicates it certainly wasn't the first time. So, why is Bobby Dassey having to pose as other people on the internet instead of himself? Has he burned so many bridges acting this way that the only way he can get people to talk to him is if he logs in as one of his brothers? I mean, I don't know. I'm left wondering, questioning after seeing this here, and why a brother would do that to another brother. I mean, it's just, I mean, and this is all happening while Brendan is at Fox Hills. So I just find this to be very disturbing. And Blaine and Brendan are with Wiegert and Fassbender, airtight alibi there. So it's like I said, this is the type of stuff that makes Bobby look like he is a third-party suspect. This kind of stuff, along with many other things, kind of makes him look real, kind of, suspicious. Now, I'm not going to throw any accusations around here and say he's the one that did it, but KZ is right to want to name him as a third-party suspect. They should have been able to meet Denny on this. The CD was a Brady violation. It's just, all that stuff together, it just creates this cloud of suspicion around. But then when I saw this, I was pissed, because I care so much about Brendan, and to see that part at the end where he comes home and he's having to apologize for what was going on while he wasn't there, and it just rubs me the wrong way. It really does. So, just wanted to point this out. this is why Bobby gets named, and now we're going to move on to essentially why Scott gets named by Zellner. So, okay, so what I'm going to show you now is the text of basically what Scott said happened the night of the 31st at trial. Okay, of the timing of him and Barb going to watch a particular show and stuff like that, right? Okay, I'm going to show you that. We're going to see the timing on that. We're going to see that he claims that they were trying to get there for the original airing of the episode, the show, and it's called Prison Break. And so you're going to see all that in this text. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is, well, we're going to hear, is the call between Stephen and Jody, where we hear Stephen say he sees Barb. So, all right. So here we go. We'll get to it. Tadych was asked about his specific activities on Monday, 10/31/05. He stated he spent the day in Green Bay at a hospital where his mother had undergone back surgery. He stated he came to pick up Barbara about sunset or shortly thereafter. He stated Barbara Yonda accompanied him to Green Bay, where he stayed with his mother, and then transported Barbara back to her mobile home at approximately 19:30 to 19:45 hours. That would be 7:30 to 7:45. He stated after this, he and Barbara, that he went to his residence. He stated Barbara arrived at approximately 8 p.m. or thereabouts, and he and Barbara watched the TV show. He specifically mentioned the program Prison Break. He stated Barbara spent the night at his residence and did not go home. He stated Barbara did go directly to work from his residence, to his knowledge. So, for me, I can say, yeah, she may have gone to work from his residence because, well, you'll hear in this call what you're going to hear, but you're going to even see that she was probably there between 7:30 and 7:45 because that would be when she wanted Brendan to do the dishes that you'll hear Steve talk about. And he went to his residence, so that looks like he drove himself. And then Barbara arrived at approximately 8 p.m. because that's the time the show Prison Break started, right? And that was the whole thing that they were watching that, right? He specifically mentioned the program Prison Break. And the thing is that in this call, you're going to see that at about 9:05, right about 5 minutes after 9, Stephen's on the phone with Jody, and he's saying he sees Barb and that she's leaving again. So it explains that if she's leaving again, she could very well have gone back to Scott's. But what this does make me wonder is why didn't Scott mention her leaving and going back to the salvage yard? So did he just forget about it, or anyway, it's just one of those things. Like I said with Scott, is what's the explanation for why his statements kind of end up this way, where they're in question like this? Really? That's really my question about it is, listening to this call, you guys are going to hear it. Listening to this call, she's clearly there at 9:05 at her trailer there at the salvage yard at, like I said, 9:05. And that show Prison Break's an hour, so it's you see what I mean. So she would have been missing the show that they wanted to watch. And anyway, so it's just another I just don't see any good reason why Scott would just not say, oh yeah, she did have to go back home real quick right after the show ended. She had to run home real fast or whatever. So it is a little odd, and so it just makes you wonder why didn't Scott mention it in this statement, which is basically his official statement regarding October 31st of 2005. So, all right, now we'll move into the call so you guys can hear the things that I'm talking about, and that I'm referencing through this statement.
Yeah, I was telling Barbara over there, too. Told her to stay home. Get this shit done around here.
Why? What's she got to get done?
She lives like a fucking pig.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh.
It's probably worse now with Tom gone.
Yeah? She wanted Brendan to do the dishes. I took Brendan over here to help me. And then when we walked in there, she looked at him. I see Brendan's dishes are done.
did them, huh?
She
Just
did.
a little side note, in relation to the fact that all this is happening when this supposed murder and rape and all these things are happening. He just says right there that Brendan was supposed to do the dishes, right? But Stephen goes over and gets Brendan and has him help him do something now. And then he talks about that Barb is mad and like stares at Brendan when they come back. Now, here's the thing. If you're committing a big murder like this and you go to get the help of Brendan, right? Wouldn't it be silly or kind of ill-advised or dumb to pull Brendan away from the chores that his mom is telling him to do to come and help you do this horrible thing that you are cleaning up or whatever it is you're doing at that point, right? Are you sure you want to be going to do that? Because then you could very well end up, it's a somewhat likely possibility that you're going to end up with a very irate Barb bursting in on you, pissed off and wondering where Brendan is because he's supposed to be doing the dishes. And she's going to be wondering why oh, wait, what the hell's going on here? I mean, right? So, I don't know. Seems like if that was the case, Steve wouldn't have wanted the possibility that she might come over and pull Brendan back by his ear to go do the dishes. I doubt he would have been wanting to take that chance if all these things that the state would claim were happening. Anyway, all right, that's my side note.
Does she go out every night?
Yeah, she go out all the time. That fucking Suburban don't even get cold. I told her that. That some bitch don't even get cold. You're always on the fucking road.
More than she was before?
Yeah.
I know.
Shit. The last couple of days, she come home, 5 minutes. They're gone again. Last night she didn't get home till, it was 11 or 12 o'clock. Fucking Scotty. That's all I hear.
Yeah, and she wanted nothing to do with him, huh?
Yeah, she talked about him all the time.
Liars.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah?
You gotta go beat around the fucking bush. Get to the fucking point. People don't give a shit no more.
Yeah, I know. Too bad we couldn't take your mom-in-laws. Well, I know you want to stay in this area, but we can take her with. She ain't gonna move though.
Well, between here and up north. Oh, it all depends.
I wouldn't mind them living with us.
Huh?
I wouldn't mind them living with us.
Who?
Your mom and dad, if need be.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean?
No.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. What do you mean?
I don't know.
My picture's still up north?
Yeah. Well, of course it is. Where is it else going to be?
I don't know. I thought maybe your mom took it down.
No, she didn't take your picture down.
Because of my big boobs.
No. I don't know. Chucky looked at them.
No, really?
Yeah, Brian seen them. Then he grabbed his nuts.
On the picture?
No. When he was walking, looking at it.
On the picture?
Yeah, when he looked at the picture.
That's all I was wondering. What the fuck am I wearing?
You're wearing the black outfit. Oh, she's leaving again.
What black outfit? My swimsuit?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's
and my
probably what it
big
is.
pants, my shorts, my big
No, it don't. It go from the waist up.
Is there a black string around my neck?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, that's up north, huh?
Yeah.
That's probably my... You got a picture like that at home, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's my swimsuit, my big shorts.
Now she's gone again.
I don't want a Dr. Pepper.
No?
Yeah, 'cause that one tasted watered down.
Let's see, what time? Oh, 20 after, huh?
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll take you there. I'll call her tonight so she can talk to you.
Wait, whoa. Who's watering down the Dr. Pepper? Whoever that is should be taken out and shot. Anyways, all right, so back to the point of what we're talking about here. So you see what I'm talking about where you hear Steven talk about, yeah, I was talking to Barb earlier, da-da-da. That could be the 7:30 to 7:45 window where he was talking to her. It would explain why she wanted Brendan to do the dishes because she was in a hurry to get out and get on her way, right? Okay, that all makes sense. That all perfectly bink, right? What doesn't is where Scott is saying that she never left. I mean, he specifically says in that statement that she never left. You know, that she was there the whole time. And clearly we see in this call that she is there and she is leaving again at approximately 9:05, 9:06. Somewhere between about 4 to 7 minutes after 9 p.m. on October 31st. So we're clearly seeing that that's what's happening. So it's once again, I'm looking at one of Scott's statements and just going, why are your statements inaccurate? Is it because you felt bullied or pressured to say things? You know, I just can't help but wonder. I mean, why? I mean, it's just like I said. The reason why I say he may have felt bullied because I know how Josh Redant felt, particularly regarding about the size of the fire, right, folks? Remember? Okay. And then we see the account of Scott's account of the fire as it grows ever higher and higher and bigger and until it's almost a, nuclear blast consuming all of Wisconsin practically. Anyway, but by watching that progression with Scott's stories and hearing Redant and the reason why he got a lawyer because he was feeling like the DOJ, the actual investigators from the DOJ, were pushing him to say something about the fire that he just, didn't know what they were getting at because he was just telling them what he saw. And they just were fishing for something he could tell. And he eventually got a lawyer because he got tired of it. So that he could give his statements through a lawyer and stuff. And that's what he still does to this day. Even when he talks to Zellner or anybody, he has his lawyer present. He makes sure that whatever statement that they take away from there, that him and his lawyer go through it and they make sure that everything that's in there is what they wanted to say. I mean, it's like Josh Redant now exercises a great deal of control over the way the interviews go with him now because he has a lawyer there to represent his interests. So I can conceive of the possibility that Scott maybe just felt pressured to say things. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just something that's suspicious, and these are the reasons why Kathleen Zellner has named Scott and Bobby. You know what I mean? These are the reasons why. They're not frivolous reasons. These are things that make you go, You know what I mean? I was shocked when I read that bit about Bobby impersonating Brendan on MSN. I was like sitting there going, you gotta be kidding. And then to see Brendan coming in, having to apologize for it and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's terrible. I just couldn't. That really just bugged me. Seriously, bugged me big time. I don't know. Maybe sometimes brothers do stuff like that to each other, but then again, it's all going back in line with all the stuff that was found on the computer to begin with. Particularly the part where he says, let's go to a warehouse. I'll be the one dressed up as Jigsaw from the Saw movies or whatever. And that would imply mutilation and all that stuff, just like the images that we know were found on the computer. Right? So it's like, yeah, it's very suspicious. And there's a very good reason why Kathleen Zellner has named Bobby and Scott. She is perfectly open to them coming down and explaining what's going on. And they haven't done it yet. So, I mean, it's just like even Ryan, if they don't come down and talk and remove themselves, then they're still there. They're still under suspicion, right? So, I don't know. Anyway, that's the way it goes, right? Kathleen Zellner didn't name him for no reason. That's what it all comes down to in the end. It wasn't just like she was, throwing a dart at a wall full of pictures and said, okay, those are my two. You know what I mean? No. It was a lot more reason for it than just that. So, as I said, just wanted to point out another thing here about Bobby and one more about Scott, where we see shady dealings. Like I said, another inaccurate statement from Scott. And with Bobby, that stuff that he did with Brendan's MSN account, I mean, just like, wow, that's just really just not cool. I mean, if I was Brendan, I might have gotten into it with him when I got home. You know what I mean? It might have gotten physical. So, anyways. So that's about it for this one, folks. Like I said, I'll be trying to upload some of the full calls from the 31st for those of you who are wanting to listen to them, who I guess haven't been able to find them already. So I'll upload those 2 calls for people who have not been able to find them. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see ya.